Hey guys, what's up and welcome in. Today, we are going to be deciding the greatest or your favorite piano sonata of all time. I don't know if you can hear that, but have a feedback loop. I'll be back in like 10 seconds. That was very unexpected. I have a laptop to make sure the stream is working to watch over there, and it was making noise. I could hear myself talking very loudly. So all is good. Let's try that again. Welcome in. Today, you're going to be deciding the greatest and best Beethoven Sonata of all time. Let me show you what we're going to be doing here. So we have our bracket. This here has every single one of the 32. I didn't include the 3 bonus ones that are included in some additions, but the 32 published piano sonatas during Beethoven's life. What we did here is basically I didn't want to skew the rankings and try to match up things that I thought were better or worse. Sometimes in brackets you put, the top up here, you get the most famous one. I didn't want to seed it that way. I just did an order. 1 is going to face 32, 2 31, 3 30. The reason I did it that way is I also didn't want to have something weird where like the first one wouldn't get the second one, so all the early ones competed, then all the later ones. I just wanted to mix it up. So this is random in the system I made. We're going to go 1 down to the bottom, 16, 17, back up to the beginning. If you've never seen a bracket before, everything's going to be voted head to head in the polls, in the comment. Just like right now, we have tea versus coffee right now. Tea is winning. Wow, T is crushing it right now, 71% to 29%. But we'll do each one. We're going to say what's better, sonata number 1 in F minor, sonata number 32 in C minor. With the winner, we'll go on to the next round. Hello, F triple sharp. Welcome in. D major, I see a comment, and Cube Talk, and Daniel J. Welcome in. What we're going to be doing is I'm just going to start off by the first one here in a second. Before we do, there's a delay. If you don't ever been to a live stream before, this is your first one you've ever clicked on, just know there's a delay between me talking and you hearing me. So if you're leaving a comment, I'll get to it. It just takes a second sometimes. And yeah, let's go ahead and start our first live stream. So our first live stream, our first poll. So very first one here, I'm going to have to end the coffee versus tea poll. So tea will forever be known as winning against coffee in this poll, but I had to stop one poll to start a new one. So first we're going to do number 1 in F minor. And I will mention if there's like names and stuff that these are known by or they're more famous by, but we have 2 or 32 in C minor. You guys ready for the first one? You ready for this? All right, let the voting commence. I'm going to make sure everything looks right on your guys' end really quick and everyone can see this is the first poll. So yeah, there you go. So we can go ahead and start voting now. I will play little samples along the way for those of you who don't know. Wow, already the number 32 is crushing number 1 in F minor. Poor number 1 in F minor. So in case you don't know, number 1 F minor is one that starts with the... And then... It also has a really nice middle movement. The reason I'm bringing up how this sonata is good is because I know it's not going to win against number 32. I know it's going to get crushed, so I fear we might as well take a second to celebrate it before it's off the list. Unfortunately, what I predict is going to happen here is we're going to have a lot of early sonatas get beat out by later sonatas here right at the beginning. But you know what? This tier list is going to get more difficult to go along, so we're not going to take forever on these first ones. I'm sure I'll have a chance to play more themes from the 32 later. Great sonata. So we're going to go ahead and mark this one down as the winner. Is going to go on to the next round. Let me go ahead and stop our... Oh, no. Were you a fan of... Wait, Cube Talk, are you upset because... Number 1. Oh, number 1 actually with the more votes. Oh, wait. We got to give number 1 a chance. People are just now joining, and number 1 has made a huge comeback. It was like 80 to 20, so I was like, we might as well just stop now. I will give a couple more seconds for number 1 to have a chance. They need to pick up like 2 more votes right now to pull a tie. If that happens, we'll let the voting go on for a little while longer. I don't want to call it too soon. And for a certain point there, it was getting crushed. So the last sonata is obviously extremely famous for that first movement with the... And then the... Actually, can you guys hear that? I forgot to turn my piano volume up. There you go. There you go. And it also has the really famous, beautiful last movement that goes... Something along those lines. So, okay, we're going to keep it the way it is. We have 16 votes now in, but it looks like the last sonata is still in the lead. So we're going to call last sonata has won the first round. We can't let every sonata have as many chances as that one, but that one was close. So, yeah, like number one, but 32 is just 32. That's a good way to put it. I mean, number one, it's surprisingly good for somebody who's being forgotten by some people. It is amazingly good, but going against number 32 is just a tough thing to ask. So, okay, we got up next here. We have number one. I like all of them. Well, sorry, Cha24. You are not allowed to vote for every single sonata, the whole video. I wish you could vote for multiple, but that would actually kind of ruin the entire point. Up next here, we have sonata number 2 in A major. I have this irrational fear that I wrote a wrong, name down or number down, but I think I got them all right. Double checked it once. So hello back, mates. Welcome in. Hopefully you don't love the first sonata, because if so, you just missed it. Just got eliminated. So sonata number 2 in A major versus number 31 in A flat. Do you guys want me to play little samples, or I probably should start the poll first? If I play samples and then start the poll, each one's going to take forever. So I'm going to start the poll real quick. Number 2 in A major is one that starts with those octaves like that one, and then it has the really fun middle movement that goes. And then number 32 is the sonata A flat major, is the one that starts with the something like that. So both really, really, really good sonatas. It looks like A flat major is crushing number 2. I think number 2 is a good pick for, you might not know it, but it's a great sonata, because some people again know the first one because it's the first one. But it has a good second movement. I would say the third movement's weaker, and the fourth movement is pretty fun. It has a big arpeggio. Something like that. So, hey, real quick, while we're voting on this one and giving A major a little bit of a chance, so I think it's, why would I pair them like that? Well, the thing is, if I paired all the early and all the later, we would have issues like round 1. We'd have to compare 31, 32. So we would lose that. Then we'd have to compare 29 and 30. So, you know what I mean? 29 and 30 are both wildly famous. So I think there would actually be, I thought this through, I think there were actually more people upset about great sonatas that happened to ring, because Beethoven did kind of write some things in blocks of similar styles, and they would just eliminate each other from the beginning. So I know what you mean. I didn't like it either. I could have just gone through and taken my ranking of the sonatas and then matched them up high to low that way with seating. But then I'm kind of imposing my own, this is what I think the sonatas are rated on all of you guys, and that would kind of influence the results are more likely to be what I want them to be, because I'm matching up my ones I like against weaker ones. So I just thought this would be the fair way to not make it I could have gone 1 through 16 and then restarted 17 at the top and down. That might have been another way to do this that would have avoided the back-to-back issue, but also not put the ending ones against the beginning ones. But yeah, that's kind of just the way it is. It's hard to do. It's hard to not have this. With the composer one, it's kind of the same thing. Sometimes the composer is great, but they just got matched up against Mozart in the first round. So, okay, I could just flip a coin. They're both good. I actually probably would, if I had to pick one to play, I might play the first one, but it's hard to not say the last one I like more. It's just a great sonata. So as I call this one and say A major wins, let me know in the comments real quick. I'm curious what country every A flat major wins. A flat major wins, not A major. A flat major wins. Let me know what country you guys are from. I'm actually really curious because I did the last live stream. I did it at night here. And I mentioned in a comment, but I'll mention it here in case you didn't see that. About a fourth to a third of my audience is actually European, which is, I didn't know this until recently. I was like, wow, there's a huge European audience that watch my videos. And so my last live stream I did, I knew that before I did the live stream, but I got to pick sometimes. There's also like a big Australian audience, and it's the middle of the night there right now. And so the last one I did though was like middle of the night for all the European countries. And so my biggest countries is the USA. Then after that, like Great Britain. After that's Germany. I think Germany was next. And something like Canada, then France and Spain. Like a lot of European countries mix into that like 3 to 10 range. So anyways, I want to do this one because I was like, hey, like we could do a different time. And that will still work for a lot of the audience. Again, it does put one region of the world must always be in the middle of the night. We can't really avoid that, unfortunately. But I thought this would be cool because it would give you, like, if you're from Europe, hopefully it's a better time. So, yeah, Kira, the Chopin Nocturnes would be really cool. I've ranked them in a tier list. I haven't ever done a live stream. This is the Chopin Nocturnes. That would be interesting. I feel like that's something people are opinionated about. The Beethoven Sonata, I'm making the next poll, by the way. I'm not just talking. The Beethoven Sonatas are really cool because there are 32 of them. Actually, after I finished the live stream last time, I was talking to someone. I was like, what would be another good one to do? Oh, I just messed up. That's E major. There shouldn't be a flat there. That's 30 in E major. E major. E major. Number 3 in C major can die a terrible death because it has the embarrassing thirds at the beginning. This sonata is actually really cool. It just has that horrible... You're like, yay, everything's going well. I'm turning my audio up real quick here. And then something like... But it does a lot of cool things. It has like the... something like that. But I would vote for the E major here in a heartbeat. E major is amazing. Sorry I said E flat in the poll. But the E major has... The beginning's the part that goes like... But it also has that middle movement that's like so E major. It's one of my favorites. It's not in my top 3. Or 4 maybe. Once you get outside that, it's one of my favorites. So okay, we're going to go ahead and call this one because it doesn't seem to be wildly close. I'm guessing lots of you guys are kind of with me. The E, sorry, it says E flat. It's E. I know it's E. I have to type this every time anew because how YouTube polls work. And so, but yeah, C major is great. I'm happy C major got some votes. I feel like it is a good one, especially the middle movement of that C major is really good. Really good. I didn't play that, but I'm going to focus a little more on the losers the first time through, because they will never get heard from again. So, oh man, C major is making a comeback, but it's still down 5 votes. So at this point, let's call it and go on. I think we're good. Yeah, let's call and go on to the next one. So for the tournament, we're going to say, why can't I find there it is. C major, not C major, E flat major. E major has won. Don't listen to me, just vote for stuff. So E major has won. And now this next one is, you mentioned earlier that the way I paired them is unfortunate. There's really not a good way to pair these. Like I was saying, there's not really a way to do this without putting something against something that's unfortunate at the beginning. I thought this was somewhat like controlled randomness in a way, because I was like pairing them like this. This is the biggest crime though of all of them, because number 4 in E major is a great sonata. I think it's a great sonata. I think the first movement is okay. But yeah, yes, like Andromeda just said, you're going to get crushed. Number 4 is going to get crushed. E flat major is great. It's the grand sonata. Something like that, but it's going to get crushed by, it doesn't stand a chance against hammer clavier. So go for it. Crush it. They take it away, guys. I was actually really happy with my composer tier list. I didn't know if there would be like a majority of people in the audience who just voted for memes, just voted to be funny. Like, oh, we tried to make, Messiaen beat Beethoven. But yeah, hammer clavier is going to do well on this list. Wow, only one person said they were American. The rest of you guys didn't even say what country you're from. I'm assuming there's a good mix, but maybe I'm wrong. Maybe like this is all USA. There's no one from like um, other parts. So yeah, Black Mage, you're right. I do actually start sonata number 3 with both hands. It's the next measure. You have to be able to reach like a 12th to do it with two hands, right? So it's out of my reach. I'm with you. I'm with you though. Oh, but you live in Switzerland. That's cool. My little brother who also has a channel on YouTube, same last name. We're the only people with the last name on YouTube, I hope. Apsher. He was just in Switzerland for like a while. It's kind of fun, like hiking in the mountains and stuff like that. So, but yeah, are you like French Switzerland? Do you like speak? Oh, I guess you're American, but where do you live now? Do you live like more French speaking area? Do you live in like a German speaking area? I speak some German. I have none. Oh, you missed number 3, your favorite sonata. Your vote wouldn't have made a difference. Oh, Kalle, welcome from Germany. So yeah, your vote would have made a difference. The number 3 needed like 5 more votes to have a chance, but unfortunately, German speaking, good. Then I can communicate somewhat with you if you forget how to speak English. I don't speak any French. I joke on the channel a lot. While we do this, I'm going to go ahead and say Camera Clavier has crushed the competition. We don't need to let this go on any longer. Number 4 is great. Number 4 is one that if it was paired against another sonata would have a shot. Many other sonatas, I think, but not against that. Live in France. Oh, I'm sorry, D major. Then you probably have known from my pronunciation on my channel. I cannot speak French at all. For some reason, German just makes so much more sense in my brain, especially the pronunciation of it made more sense. In French, I was like, I didn't really study it, so that probably didn't help either. Spain versus France tonight. Yeah, we can just rile up some competitions right now. All this is Beethoven. This is the composer day. It'd be a little better, we could have we talk about which composers and which countries are better for composers. Okay, up next we have number 5 in C minor, which if you don't know that one, I know it's a little lesser known one. It's a great teaching piece if you ever teach students that are ready for a Beethoven sonata, but they can't handle a really hard one yet. It's a pretty good one. It goes hope you appreciate all my faking. It also has that really pretty A flat middle movement. But number 28 in A major, I would vote for. I don't want to give my opinion all the time, but number 28 in A major, man, that is such a good piece. So let me turn my piano mic up real quick here so you can hear it better. Oh, my piano mic's already up. Let me know if the audio sounds terrible right now. That'd be really helpful. This is with my piano mic on. I think it might sound weird if you hear phase distortion. But if it sounds fine right now, just leave it on so I don't forget to turn it back up and down the whole time. But yeah, this is the A major. That one has the crazy, I just made a video about it, has a crazy waltz middle movement, and it has a beautiful, mysterious intro to kind of the third movement, which has a fugue and all that stuff. So how are we doing here? Whoa, this is the biggest beatdown yet. Oh, poor C minor. I figured this was going to happen. C minor is great and all, but no, not against this A major. So number 8, which number? Yeah. Pathetique is coming. I'll try to mention when they're, oh yeah, you're right. I see what you're saying, because this is C minor. It's the same key as Pathetique. I will try to remember to mention every time one has a name or is uniquely famous for something. But yeah, I would say 5 has grown on me. I didn't study it when I was coming up through piano, but I've used it a couple times. I think it's a teaching piece. It has some cool stuff, but this is, I've mentioned before on my channel, this is the effect of Beethoven. Even if you're well, that sonata's not that good. I played F sharp major just kind of as I needed a stopgap piece one time where I didn't want to work on something massive. So I played F sharp major and I just fell in love with it. At first I was like, oh, it has a pretty intro, which we'll get to that in a few rankings here. But you're just oh yeah, I mean, it's fine, right? Then by the time I finished playing it, it was the best sonata ever, right? So that's the Beethoven effect. So, but I will try to mention as we go along here if one is famous. So, okay, C minor got some votes, but this is not close enough to let the voting keep going. So we're going to let A major, which by the way starts on E chord. So if I say E, I know it's not E. I played this piece. I know it's not E, but still, I love saying the wrong thing. So, all right, up next here, we have two, I'm not going to say lesser known sonatas. However, if we're speaking relative to all the Beethoven sonatas, like everything I say in this video is relative. If I say sonata is bad, I always mean relative to other Beethoven sonatas. Right? We all understand Beethoven is amazing. There's not really a bunch of crummy sonatas. There's not 20 bad sonatas out there. I would say these are less famous. If you were to put them in against all the sonatas, maybe like in the middle lower. So what I'm saying is I don't think there's a clear winner here. So yeah, Luke, you're right. Number 6 in F major. It's the one that starts with the happy chords. And in the middle movement, I don't remember the middle movement at all. I remember like not thinking it was great, but the last movement I cannot fake. It has the crazy, almost kind of like it starts out fugal. It's not a fugue, I don't believe, but it starts out that like imitation style. That's great. E minor is the one that starts with I give up. I don't remember the next chord. The second movement is something like that. I can't remember that next chord in E minor. That's super obnoxious. So, oh wow, this is close. 50 again. It's tied. E minor has a lead. E minor has a lead. Oh, this is actually a good matchup. So those of you voting for F major, what do you love about it? The fun last movement, just kind of the whole thing. Did you play? I'm really curious. I don't think either one of these will fall. I know neither one of these are my top 10. However, I really like the E minor for the cool textures. There's like that arpeggiated 10th thing. Something like that. So, yeah. Wow. Okay. E minor has pulled out a 2-vote lead. Just so you know, remember there's a delay. People let me know in the last live stream, and I would say something was equal. They say, no, it's not equal. Then I'd say it's not equal, and they say it's equal. That's because there's a delay. I see it, then I say it, then you hear what I say 10 seconds later. So, okay. All right, E minor is taking a commanding lead now. Pretty commanding. If you want to get a vote in for F major, now is the time. I want to take a drink of coffee. I voted for tea or coffee at the very beginning. If you were here, tea won, but I have coffee. I begin to hear me going while I was taking that. All right, I think we're good. E minor it is. So we are going to have an all late movement trend going on for a while longer. We are not going to stop this trend yet. At some point, this trend will flip, and we will not have all late ones winning everything. But today is not that day. Today, for this vote, it will continue. All right, up next, we have D major, number 7. If you're wondering why I have not mentioned the name of some of these early sonatas, because most of the early ones, other than the grand sonatas, don't have common names. And this is versus E flat major, which is Lebewohl or Le Du. I say Lebewohl, as mentioned earlier. I speak some German, so I feel better about saying Lebewohl, rather than saying Le Du, because I have terrible French pronunciation. So this is interesting, guys. Before I click go, oh no, I love Black Mage. I was just about to offend you. I think you commented on my Beethoven tier list. I think I said I don't like D major that much. I'm pretty sure you commented forever ago. Hello, Kat. How are you? You have 2 other German speakers, at least in the chat, just so you know. You have friends here. We've already had this. We were talking about this earlier. So this is the hard matchup. So I'm going to click go on this. I'm guessing E flat major, Lebewohl is going to crush it. I'm assuming. By the way, the other reason I say Lebewohl. Wohl means live, right? Like live well. Like lebe, yeah, live. And then no, wohl is live. I used to know this. Why can't I think of this right now? It's like an expression I know, so it's a funny translation, but I think I should know. 2 quick stories with this piece. Lebewohl, I'm always a big hold out when I was in college. I will pronounce it Lebeville. I would not say le du because it starts with the words above the score. Le, ba, vo. Is it leba or liba? Wait. It's liba. Is that what I'm saying wrong? No, it's leba, L-E-B-E. At least in my Henley, it says L-E-B-E. If it was liba, yeah, I know it means farewell. I was just trying to think of what the direct translation was for it. Liba would just be love life. Love life, guys. But yeah. D major, I don't really like that much. I think it's mostly one bad performance of it turned me off too. I wasn't a fan of it. Then I heard a professional who was an expert who had played all the sonatas play D major, and I was like, oh, here we go. I'm going to, I was ready to have a new opinion, a fresh take on it. And I was just like, oh, I never got that. It was just, I didn't like it that much. So it's gone now. I don't like Lebeville as much as I probably should. I do think it's fun. It's a fun sonata. Actually, I heard both these pieces played on the same recital once, which is kind of funny that they happen to be paired against each other. Again, the pairing is to a certain degree random. Lebeville's great. Again, this is all relative to each other. I don't like it. It's not my top 10, but it's one of my favorite first three chords. Right, to pick my favorite intros, Appassionata's up there. Lebeville maybe is number 2. For like the very first, the last sonata, the very first thing you hear too is awesome, right? But I love deceptive cadences, and I just think Lebeville, if you hear this, then just open fifth. Dark sadness from the very beginning. So, all right, guys, up next we have a very, 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 okay. Oh, Vol. I knew that. What was I thinking? Thank you for clearing that up for me. So that's what I was thinking. Lebe, like Das Leben der Anderes, that German movie about the lives of others or something. That's what my brain was telling me. But then I thought Vol, but I think of the word Wohn, like Wohnung, like apartment. I was just very much like a horn that opening. That thank you for clearing up my brain. For some reason in my head, I had determined that Lebe, Vol must mean live, so that's why I just could not think of what Lebe was. But that's why I thought, Leben is like lives, and then Vol. In my head, I was thinking Wohn because I don't get to practice German because I'm an American who literally knows not a single German in my life. Up next, we have Pathetique, number 8 in C minor versus number 25 in G major. So number 8 in C minor is Pathetique, for those of you wondering. I didn't know whether to go with opus numbers or numbers. I'm more of an opus number person, opus 13. But I've noticed on the internet that a lot of people refer to the Beethoven sonatas by their number. So I went with number on this. But I'm more of an opus person, in case you're curious. Yeah. Number 8 is overplayed, but still amazing. Yeah, when I was a freshman in college, I played on my freshman recital, and I was like all excited. And a few people were like, "It's overplayed," and I'm like, "Well, who cares? It's awesome." Pathetique, the fast version of it, and then obviously, and then there's the middle movement, which you probably know, and the last movement. I think I don't want to say something wrong here. I think the best part of Pathetique for me is the C section of the third movement, actually, when it's that A flat major thing where it goes, because it almost reminds me of what's going to happen later in Beethoven's life, right? Later in Beethoven's life, he's going to do the whole developmental sections where like the little motive that comes back a lot. And so that, I don't want to get into a whole discussion about Pathetique right now. It's going to win though, so it'll make it on to the next part. But and when it does the I can't remember how it goes now. When it does the melody where you get like, I think I'm doing the reverse hands right now, but yeah. So this is Pathetique is definitely winning this round. We can stop the poll. No need to crush to G major. This G major, I think I mentioned in my I didn't even talk anything about this G major. This is one that goes. I mentioned in my big ranking of my Beethoven, this is not my ranking, this is your ranking. If you guys make bad decisions, it's on you for the rest of eternity, not me. But I mentioned that I don't love the G majors as much as the other sonatas. I think I said they were terrible as a joke, which offended some people. But the G majors are fine. But there's the G, that Opus 49 G sonatas. And then this G I don't like. The other Gs are better. The other G sonatas will get better. Other than the Opus 49s, obviously. But let's keep going. So we have, up next, we have Pathetique is easier than it sounds. Is that related to my last video? Probably. Probably. It's hard. I mean, relative to other Beethoven sonatas, maybe. I would say it's the hardest thing I played on that recital that day, even though I played flashier, and I played it as a freshman, even though I played flashier pieces. But if we're comparing to other Beethoven sonatas, it's easier than something like the lots of the big sonatas. It's very famous for being. I don't want to ever say easy, but yeah. I probably agree with you relative to the Beethoven sonatas. It might be number 9. Okay, we're going on to number 9 versus number 24. I feel these are a little lesser known for some people. So number 9 is and then it has a pretty middle movement. No, it doesn't. It has a mysterious middle movement. It's this one. But number 24 is Autres, which is more French I can't pronounce. It's like the main theme is something like but what's great about Autres, if you don't know it, is that, I didn't click start. My bad. It pulls on now. I thought I clicked start and was talking while it was running. My bad. It's going now. Autres, the fun part is the second movement is wildly entertaining. It has all these ridiculous I'm not on the right key because it's been a few years since I played it, but it's just insane stuff, right? The last movement in number 9 is good too. You love number 9, Cube Talk. How do you know number 9? Anyways, so I have taught number 9. First movement is another good first movement for someone who hasn't played a lot of really hard Beethoven sonatas, not ready for like a big meaty one. I would say it's on the easier third of first movement. Probably second movements too. Third movement, it's hard to know. Third movement really depends on what tempo you want to play. So this one's actually close. It looks like F sharp major is going to pull it out. Henley ranked concerto number 4 and 5. You mean their difficulty ranking they did? Andromeda. They did like they said it was easier. Number 4 and 5 are lower than the sonatas. That's insane. If that's true, that's insane. Yeah, number 9. I think has a good. It feels good by the end. It also has some crazy weird notes you get from like pedal tones, and it makes some really clashy sounds. There's that at the end of the piece. I might have to look it up to remember it, but there's like you're almost playing a normal 5 chord, but you just have like an F natural instead of an F sharp in the left hand. Something like. So it's like just crazy notes at the end. So let's see. Looks like F sharp is going to win. Let's call it for F sharp. Oh, that's funny. They rate the concerto 4 and 5 as only 7. Yeah, concerto number 5 is really hard. The concertos are not on here. We should do a little, if there's people hanging out at the end and we have time, we should do like a head-to-head all the concertos real quick. That'd be kind of fun. Number 5 is, I've never played 4, but number 5 I've played, and I know it's really hard. So, okay, this is big enough to call F sharp major. Boom. We are moving on to the next one. You ready for this? We have G major, number 10 in G major. I'll play themes. I know there's a lot of G major ones for you guys. And then we have versus 23 in F minor. 23 in F minor is Appassionata. So it's going to be a tough matchup. This G major is the weird chromatic one. That one, and then obviously Appassionata is. I said obviously, then I couldn't remember. Yeah, number 10 is pretty unique, but this is why we're doing this tier list. I want some of you guys to feel my pain I go through. Not this tier list, this bracket. It's kind of fun, right? When I make a tier list, it's always like, oh, those are, what are you doing? Terrible votes. But then it's also like, when you have to make a decision, yeah, number 10 can be fun, but Appassionata, yeah, it's going to get crushed. And it is getting crushed. Yeah. All right. We're going to go ahead and call this. We got a lot of sonatas to get to, and these votes are going to get much, much tougher as we go along. So we got number 23 in F minor. Not surprisingly, the late sonatas are crushing it right now. But like I said, if people like the late sonatas more. If I would have made all of them match up against each other at the beginning, that would be bad too, to get rid of all the ones people think are better at the beginning too. So I think, interestingly enough, with some exceptions, we're going to have some better matchups here in the middle. This one, for example, number 11 in B flat major versus number 22 in F major. This B flat major is sometimes people call it the little hammer clavier. I don't know, but it's the one that goes like and then something like, that build up. Like that. The number 22 is the I've heard some people say also had number 22 has a cool octave stuff on the second page and everything. My teacher in college, I think it was my teacher used to say this, my undergrad degree, would say number 22 is like the valley, kind of like Switzerland. Someone's from Switzerland earlier. Well, not from Switzerland, but they said they're living there now. It's like when you're in the valley between mountains, because our expectations are almost too high for it, because we're like, it's between Waldstein and Appassionata. It's a good sonata, but see, this is what I'm interested in. I'm kind of a yeah. So I don't like this B flat that much, and this is one that I was very 21 is Waldstein. That one's coming up next. Yeah, I might vote for B flat over this F major. Neither one of these are sonatas I love a lot, but I think this B flat is not my favorite. And I noticed when I did my video of my ranking of the sonatas, a lot of people disagree with this B flat one being so low. As you can tell, because I don't have much of it memorized, I've never been terribly interested in it. So 22 is more like a finger exercise. Burn. All right, this is not even close though. So this was like, I would assume, tell me if I'm wrong, I would assume most sonatas on this list would beat either one of these. Like I think these would lose to most other sonatas. They just had a lucky draw in the first round, which happens sometimes when you do these brackets. You get lucky draws, and this happens if you watch basketball. Like, I don't watch March Madness, but it's always like one team that's like an 8 seed or a 9 seed or a 10 seed who somehow just went up against a team with an injury and they're doing really well. But that's a lucky draw. Let's see. Up next, we have number 12 in A flat major. And then we have number 21 in C major, which is Waldstein. Also, number 12 in A flat major has the funeral march in the middle. So don't sleep on that sonata. It's good as well, but go for it. Crush it. I've said many times in the channel, so I won't keep it a secret. Waldstein is one of my favorite sonatas ever written by any composer ever. The first movement, I think, is one of the greatest first movements ever to exist. And then the middle movement's like an intro really to the second, the third movement. But then the third movement is highly experimental and beautiful. So it's a great one. Number 12 in A flat major starts off beautifully though. It's has the yeah. Yeah. On Andromeda, the octave glissandos are crazy. So the person who taught me, the person I was studying with when I learned Waldstein had very small hands. She was quite a bit shorter than me, had really small hands. And so she would do the whole, you jump up, take with your other hand, then go back with this hand, everything. And I remember I think she told me that you could do that. We talked about the fingering. And then I went back and I was like, I might just, I might just do an octave glissando. And she was like, oh, that's a lot easier. So it was actually, I felt very lucky. It's also when I realized that I don't have, amongst pianists, I don't know about you guys in the chat, you could be totally different, but I feel like lots of piano players are short, because I feel like when I'm hanging out with piano players, I'm like a monster. I'm like so much taller. I'm not tall. I'm like slightly taller than the average American, but I feel like a monster. But I don't have long fingers. If you look at my hands, they don't look like piano hands. I feel like in a weird way, you just look at them, because lots of pianists have these abnormally large fingers. My hands are very big though. I can reach tenths and kind of fake 11. So the octave glissandos works. I have good hands for them, but I remember her just being like, oh wow, that's a lot easier. I was like, yeah, I'm not going to do any weird jump rearrange stuff. I'm just going to do an octave glissando. So is anyone here tall? Do we have any tall pianists out there? Because I'm curious if you guys also do octave glissandos. You could also just define piano hands. I feel like that's a good question. Not to get into a long discussion, because Waldstein has crushed this one, but I think there's almost this assumption that if you have piano hands have very long fingers. I don't think it's necessarily true, but it looks like when you watch pianists play, sometimes they have these super long fingers. I think one thing that really helps, depending on the composer you're playing, is to have a broad hand. If you do, I've always found it's very convenient, because if you're not just have long fingers, you have a very wide hand, your fingers are very spread out. You can reach massive chords with different configurations. If you know what I mean, you don't have to be stuck with I can only reach a third if I do this, but you're like, I can reach a third between any group of fingers. You know what I mean? This is just a random example, but I think that is helpful to have wide hands, especially certain composers. I was always told, my teachers, you probably think Schubert's easier, and I'm like, maybe a little bit. She's like, some of us have a lot of trouble reaching the awkward filled in stuff in Schubert and Brahms, and I was like, oh, that makes sense. And then if you have trouble doing that, so I barely have a tenth. You know, the craziest thing is I taught this little girl, and I call her a little girl because she was like a kid, way shorter than me. We're talking she comes up to here on me, and we're just chatting one day about reach, and she reached a tenth. She couldn't fake an 11th like me, but I can it's not faking, it's playing, but I'm barely gaining an 11th. She could reach a 10th, and she's again, significantly shorter. And then her mom came over, because she was in the lesson too, and she was kind of oh, what, really? And she just played a 10th too. They were both significantly shorter than me, and I was like, wow, you guys have, and they had the huge fingers. If you actually played piano, they both had not very good stretch. Their fingers were like this instead of to spread out. If you actually played a lot and got a little more not locked up because your skin isn't stretchy enough, it's how far could you guys reach? So it was a really weird kind of surreal experience, just seeing how people can be shaped differently and their hands and stuff compared to their height. So all right, but Waldstein is the obvious winner. So yeah, that you can't pull your thumb apart. That is the thing about the octave glissandos. If you can do it, I know some people do this. I've seen this before. I think maybe, there's a famous person. Tell me if you know in the comments. There's a famous person who has a video. I don't think it's Barenboim's recording on YouTube. It's a famous YouTube video. You can see someone well known who does it, and he does the octave glissando. I think Barenboim does the scales, if I remember right, but they actually do it like this, where they're pushing with their thumb on the octaves. Hang on a second, let me show you guys full screen. Something like, so the thumb is pushing, which if you have no other options, it does work. It's obviously messier than fingernail. So ideally you have a big enough hand to be able to tuck your thumb under and still get an octave. Now that's what I do. Is my pinky slides like this, and my thumb doing this on the way down and this on the way up. It's kind of like synchronized swimming. All right, back to the rankings. I was mesmerized by my own hand there. That looked really weird on stream. If I'm not like a millionaire who streams all the time, and I used to see myself all the time. So yeah. Okay, let's see here. We expect people to play Bach fugues at all. Yes. Oh, hello, Michelle Fishy. Welcome to the live stream. I'm glad you caught one. So, okay, let's go on. We have number 13 in E flat major versus, well, I shouldn't even say versus. It's not even a competition, but we have 13 E flat major versus number 20 in G major. G major, yeah. I get the two opus 49s mixed up, which one's which sometimes. So, did I do it right? I've only made one mistake so far in the poll. So, take it away, guys. So the Opus 49 sonatas, or the sonatas that Beethoven famously didn't publish, someone else published behind his back, and most likely took the money from it. And so, Luke, yeah, you know what? I thought about excluding number 19 and 20 because, like I was saying, they weren't really. They're good pieces. Like if you're going to play a sonatina anyway, and that they're at your level, they're good pieces. They don't feel like the rest of the Beethoven sonatas for sure. I'm not claiming they feel like the rest of them, but they're still good pieces. Like I think they're good. You know, if you're going up through the ranks and you're playing like Clementi sonatinas, you're playing Kuhlau sonatinas, and you're not ready to go from like Kuhlau to Pathetique, and you're like, what's something kind of in the middle? These are fine pieces, especially the first one in G minor is a good piece, a good melody. This one here is a good piece. Again, it just doesn't feel like the rest of the sonatas. I would thought about leaving them off, but then you have 30, and brackets work out really well. This is the thing that was so funny about the Beethoven sonatas. Afterwards, I was like, is there anything else in the world we have that there's 32 of them that would work out well? And I was like, oh, sonatas. If you have a bracket and you have something like 30, then you have 2 spaces to fill, which would be awkward, right? And so you would just have to have 2 dead spaces at the bottom and have no one run against this or something like that. And so I was like, I don't want to do that. So 32 is perfect. I'm like, it's just almost a perfect. And Beethoven knew way back in the day we'd be doing bracket systems. That's why he got to Opus 111, 111, wrote that sonata and stopped. Because if he wrote any more, 33 would be a really big issue for bracket systems in the future. So, all right, it looks like E flat major is crushing this one. This one here, this E flat major starts off great. Something like that. I don't like where this one goes as much. I agree. It starts off beautifully. I don't like where it goes as much. The middle movement of 13 is great. Just really fun. You say it's easy to read. How easy to read? 'Cause off the top of my head, I cannot think of this tune for the third one. Are we talking like easy to read, like Ryan won't completely embarrass himself if I flip to it right now? Or are you just saying this to make me embarrass myself? Come on. I'd somehow missed this sonata. By the way, number 13, don't forget, is technically our first Moonlight Sonata, our sonata, fantasy sonata. So I see an Allegro. You mean the Allegro? I'm not going to sight read an Allegro. No way. Oh, there's like an Adagio. Oh, yeah. Beethoven, when he writes in the key of A flat, always knows how to write. All right, that was embarrassing. Quick tip. Don't sight read in front of people. It's scary. That's why I'm not an accompanist. I'm more of a soloist. I make YouTube videos. Accompanying is terrifying. You know, my this is going to be a crushing from E flat major. One of my piano teachers accompanied all the time. She was a beast. I say that in a respectful way in case she's watching, but beast is a compliment these days. A beast. She was like accompanied for the big MTNA competitions, which is a big USA competition where maybe it's around the world too, but I know it's in the USA where people just go and they play concertos, right? So you get violin concertos, trumpet concertos, cello concertos. And so she was like the official accompanist at the highest level, and they would go to the contest, and she would just take people's music and sight read it on stage. and play concerto reductions. And she's like, I wasn't good at it when I started years ago, but eventually you sight read enough and you learn how to sight read, and it's not hard anymore. And I was like, that's a crazy story. I wasn't good at sight reading, and then I sight read literally in front of people on stage competing for years, and now I can sight read everything. I'm like, that would do it to you. So I've also noticed this trend in my life. The two best sight readers on piano I've ever known were not great memorizers. Don't know if this is you guys as well, but like, you know what I mean? Like that, they were both like, how do you memorize pieces so quickly? I'm like, I don't know, I just memorize them. But I think it goes hand in hand for the most part. If you're a really, really strong memorizer, like I'd memorize without even trying to really quickly, then your reading doesn't stay up sometimes. I'm not bad at reading, but relative to my performance and memorizing levels, it seems like I'm a bad reader because you memorize. You don't look at your music ever. But I've noticed that two people I knew in my life who literally would just sight read sonatas, like they sight read the Beethoven violin sonatas in lessons. But they were both like, memorizing is so hard. So, all right, up next we have G minor number 19, which is another one of the baby sonatas, versus Moonlight. Now, I'm not going to say Moonlight is the greatest sonata ever written, but versus this G minor, yeah, this is going to be a crushing. Sorry. Who chose 19 exactly? Like, shocker. All right, guys. In the interest of time, not saying it's bad, but in the interest of time, one vote out of 34, I'm pretty sure we can call that one for Moonlight. So Moonlight goes on to the next round. As you guys probably can tell and are anticipating, these votes are going to get a lot tougher as this bracket goes on. As we continue to do more and more of these, we're going to struggle. Now, so far, I would say I have agreed with every one of your picks. There's a few times I've been like, ew, like, I love this one too, but I've agreed with the final decision. I would make all the same final decisions. I'm pretty sure this is the first time you are going to disappoint me. I love 15 in D major. This is Pastoral. We have two named sonatas going head to head. Pastoral going against the Hunt. I love Pastoral. It's a top 5 for me, I think. It's one of the first, I can remember, maybe it's nostalgia, but one of the first times I ever had my mind blown by Beethoven. So I'm playing Pastoral, just being like, wow, that's so cool. It's such a cool piece. It also has Beethoven jazz, great piece. And the third movement's good, and the fourth movement's good. But it's going against the Hunt, and people like the Hunt a lot. So this one, I'm prepared to be disappointed a lot. The Hunt is the one that starts off with the wrong note. Right? I need to look up the Hunt, actually. I don't remember the first chord. Don't laugh at me. Was that right? It's not like that. It's fine. 15's another good one to sight read? What are you talking about? 15 is a great sonata. It's also really hard. I mean, okay, depending on the tempo you take. I would say 15 is. I would say relative to the other Beethoven sonatas, it's in the middle difficulty-wise. It's not like one's exceptionally hard or exceptionally easy. I don't think it's easy. I would say it's all in all pretty challenging, but so are all. It's also just long. A lot of stuff going on. I would say, they say if you sight read all the Beethoven sonatas, you will become a good sight reader. I have tried that before, and I think it did help. It was a lot of suffering. You have to be really patient with yourself to do that. But yeah. Wrong code. Did I do something wrong? Did I write something wrong? What's wrong? Did I say in the poll wrong? Yeah, the fourth movement of number 15. It hits you in the right spot. It'll come to me. I know the second movement's the third movement. And the fourth movement is, I'm searching the stars right now. I can't think of it. I can't think if I can hear the first melody. So it looks like this is actually close, guys. This is our closest so far. If it ends at this point, I will give it another couple votes. Another couple votes. What is? Hang on, I got to refer to the good book. This is a close one anyway, so I'll refer to. I went with the fourth movement of. For some reason, I can't think of. Oh yeah. The really really broken up melody one. Yeah. I shouldn't have closed the book. Something like that. All right. That's it. We're going to call for D major. It's up by enough votes. I think to call it 10% of the votes, so 4 more votes. So call it for D major, guys. I am proud of all of you. I'm very proud of you. I'm like a proud father right now. I thought for sure the Hunt was going to win. I actually had this conversation when I was in college. The same time I was like falling in love with D major. I think it's one of the greatest pieces ever written that not a people knew about. Someone was playing the Hunt. I remember her just being like, the Hunt is the greatest sonata because it doesn't have a slow movement. And I was like, doesn't that make it worse? Beethoven writes great slow movement. So, all right, this is an interesting one. This is my favorite of the G major sonatas because it's fun. The one with all the wrong. And then but D minor is Tempest. So I think Tempest is going to win. I would vote for Tempest. I don't have a vote in case you guys didn't know. I can't even click the button. You probably can see my mouse over here. It shows no ability to click. Oh, see, I can click in between and shrink the box, but I actually can't vote. I have no vote in the matter. Wow, G major's getting crushed. Wow, I guess the Tempest is such a good name too, right? I mean, the Tempest is good, and the second movement of the Tempest is good. The third movement's good. The first movement's obviously really famous. So, yeah, I mean, neither one of these are like in my top 8. The Tempest might scratch close to my top 10, maybe. It's hard. Everyone's always like, "Oh, that's a top 10. That's a top 10 for me." Then when you actually start writing them out, you're like, "I like this one and this one." You know, you got the last 5 sonatas. You also have Passionata and Waldstein, and I love the A major I mentioned earlier. And you start thinking like, I feel like it's a phrase us piano players say all the time. We're like, "Oh, that's like a top 5 sonata." And then we'll say that about like 15 sonatas. So, all right, wow. I'm a little surprised. I was pretty sure Tempest would win this one. I was trying to, mentally be like, who's going to win each one? Pretty sure Tempest had this one, but I didn't think it would be that close. I mean, that not close. I thought it would be like a really tight vote. So that is an easy one right now. So we're going to end that poll, give it to D minor. So all in all, what we expected to happen at the beginning, all the late ones won, which is, again, no good way to avoid this issue. If we would have made 32 and 31 go against each other and 30 and 29 and 28 and 27, everyone would have been like, it's so crazy that we had to get rid of some of the best sonatas at the beginning, because a lot of people love the last 5 sonatas. So that wasn't a good solution. So they ended up getting matched up against the early sonatas, which some of them are popular. I think this A major was a really good sonata. I feel like it was the only one that had a chance in this batch here. But yeah, they're gone. So we got a lot of late ones. And then the lower half of the list is actually pretty well blended. They're not like all late, all early. We got 13, 14, 15 in a row is a good sell. But yeah, we're going to go on to the next round where the decisions are about to get a lot tougher. Before we do, by the way, YouTube, when I make these live streams, hopefully you're not seeing ads. YouTube is like really pushing me. I did live stream on something like forever ago. I'm just recently trying it again on YouTube, and they really want me to put ads up. And they're like, no, you got to have like ads show up, and we'll just randomly give your audience ads throughout your live stream. I'm like, well, that'd be really annoying if I'm in the middle of like a vote and you don't get a vote because you get to see ads. So I did not put an ad on here. I was just going to say, if you'd like to, in lieu of watching an ad, I'm just going to say, check out my Patreon page sometime. I have a Patreon page. Deeper learning stuff, behind the scenes, fun things. That's the only ad I want to give you. I'm not going to make you watch an ad. I am going to take a 2-minute break, maybe 3, to go to the bathroom, because we're halfway there. If you don't know how the brackets work, once you get out of the first round, we've done 16 comparisons. We're going to do 8, then 4, then 2, then 1. So we're actually over halfway there already. So I will be back in 3 minutes for the second half. Wrong button. All right, guys, we are back for the second half of our bracket. While people get back on here, I will just say again that I don't want to do ads. I don't want you guys to get cut off in the middle of watching this. I know it's super obnoxious. So I would just say if you want to support the channel, you're welcome to do a super chat during the live stream if you want to, like, I might even give you a tiebreaker if someone does a super chat for a tie break. And then I have a Patreon page, same name, Ryan Apsher, spelled the same way as you probably see there or there. I don't know if my webcam is mirrored to me or just to everyone. So you're welcome to do that. That would be awesome. And then let's get back to the ranking. That's what we're all here about. Check out the Patreon if you want to. And I am going to start gabbing, but I'll be working because I'm going to... What? He does every 2 minutes when he's doing a live stream and he cuts it out when it's a normal video. Oh, because the live stream doesn't have cuts. Yeah. So when I do a normal video, yes, I chop up my video all the time because, I have to do multiple takes and stuff. But for the live stream, yeah, I had to have a cut screen. So, all right. Number 32, the final sonata in C minor versus number 31, an A flat major. This is going to be a tough decision. I think the last one will win, but this will be a tough decision. So let's see what happens here. 32 in C minor versus 31 A flat major. Let's get the anger rolling in the comments once again. Let's get everyone back typed up about which not. Oh, it's tied. Oh, A flat's winning for a split second. Okay, C minor's winning. I thought this would be, actually, I honestly thought this would be a crushing for C minor. This is actually close. This is good. We like close ones. Close ones are way more fun. Way more fun. Yeah. Everyone's campaigning. Vote for 32. No, vote for 31. So 32 is the final sonata. It's mesmerizing. If you're a newbie to Beethoven, not saying it's bad, but if you haven't heard a lot of Beethoven, it's not what I tell people to listen to first because it's like pretty sophisticated and complicated, and that last movement is really long and kind of all over the place. Yeah, 32 is boogie woogie Beethoven. Basically, you can just go right from Beethoven to boogie woogie. No one ever knows. At some point, just go live. And people will be like, yeah, whatever. That's the piece, right? And they wouldn't even know what happened. So yeah, it's a crazy sonata, but it's great. I'm not mocking it. I love this sonata. I would vote for 32. 31 though, which looks like it might be losing now. I thought 31 was going to win. Yeah, they're all good. Hi, Kira. I haven't seen you chat yet. I think you commented on my channel before. I think, though it could just be another Kira with the same, K as your icon. So yeah, but then the 31's great too. I mean, it's hard to pick at this point when you have the even just the beginning of 31 is gorgeous. And the that part's good, but then there's a fugue, and yeah, but it looks like 32 is going to pull out. I thought 32 would win. I think it's a more unique, mesmerizing piece, I think, but it's hard to say any of the last 5 sonatas aren't. 7 sonatas are not all highly unique. So we're going to call this one for C minor. C minor has 1 and on to the round of 8. Up next, we have, I think, a tough matchup. We will see what you guys say. Oh, did you vote for the wrong one? That's okay. It won anyway. So, oh, gotcha. Hi, Kira. There was someone else who used to comment on my channel with like a blue K, and it was Kira. So I thought maybe you're the same one. So welcome to the channel. Hello. I have not done a lot of live streams before, but I thought it'd be fun to do a few ranking videos. I did one a couple days ago, and some people in Europe were like, hey, it's the middle of the night for us. So I do another one really quickly here, but do one in the morning here so people in Europe could watch too. And there's people here from Europe, so we welcome them to the beginning of the video. So we have number 30 in E major versus hammer clavier. Now this, I'll let you guys vote. I won't try to skew you first because I don't even know what I would vote for. If I was in your guys' shoes, this would be the toughest decision we've had to make so far. In my opinion, this is the hardest choice, and it shows so far it's tied at 18 votes according to me, basically tied at 22 votes. This is one of the hardest decisions. Hammer clavier. Oh, hello from Vienna. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Yeah, there was like what was everyone? Vienna. There was Swiss. Some people said they spoke. I think Kat. I think you told said before you were from Austria, right? But German speaking. So oh man, you clicked wrong, Jordan. Did you click on the B flat? I don't think there's any going back when you vote. I don't think this lets you go back. Oh, you're from Germany. I thought for some reason you said you were. Maybe you said you were from like this conversation about German language. I thought someone, maybe the other person said they were Austrian or something like that. Maybe. Okay, sorry. So number 30 is E major. It's one that starts with, and then it has the gorgeous middle part. It's like I played this earlier. Well, I remember it. Great one. There's so much to love about that sonata. So I would be, oh yeah, France. I was like, I knew there was something else. I was joking about not being able to speak French earlier. There's a reason I don't think I could ever do this list with a composer who names all their things in French names, because I would be like, images, images, and Chacone. But yeah, I feel much more confident pronouncing German. However, I have been picked on often on the channel by Germans saying für Elise. I'm sorry. That's like sometimes words are so famous, they transcend languages and they just have a new way to be pronounced. And that's how we pronounce it in America. I've always heard für Elise. Everyone says für Elise. That's what happens sometimes with words. You know, you guys almost say computer in Germany. You're close. You almost say computer, but you don't quite say it like we do. You add a few extra sounds in there. So it just happened. So okay, it looks like hammer clavier is going to eliminate E major. I'm a little sad about this one, but I love hammer clavier, so I'm not that sad. Am I sad? I don't even know if I'm sad. I can't decide. This is one that it's like a total coin toss for me. I think I would vote for hammer clavier as well. I think. I love the first movement, obviously, but the second movement's so good. The last movement's good. I think. So, oh well. Oh, well now, okay, I gotta let it run. We're one vote separates it. All right. We'll give it a second and see if anyone else votes. All right, we're back to 2 votes separated now. For a second there, I almost like clicked close and all of a sudden another vote. So if you want to vote for E major, you gotta do it right now. You gotta do it like right now. This is your last chance. There we go. One vote. We can't stop it with one vote separate. It's just not possible. So, here I'll try to sway people really quickly here. E major. Actually, I think I want people to vote for hammer clavier. I think, but I feel like E major is a little less appreciated. There's that swiney one. E major's winning now. It worked. Oh, it was supposed to be hammer clavier if it makes a difference. Oh no. Oh man. I don't know, guys. We have to call it at some point because this can't go on forever. However, we've been calling some of the not close ones early just because it's not even been close. So we might as well make sure. Hammer clavier waveform starts with the that one, and then I don't know the other movements off the top of my head. But that's hammer clavier. So 29. It's guys. There are 52 votes with 42 viewers. Yeah, you know what? YouTube live stream numbers are crazy. In my experience, they are just always wrong. They're not updated. There are times that I know there are more viewers because I know who they are, and it's less. And there's times I'm like, it says there's fewer, but I don't think there is. So, Should we call it, guys? I don't know what to do. What's the thought? Should we let this play out a little longer, or should we call it? It's tied again. I don't know. I don't know. One person said they tried to vote for Hammer Clavier and clicked the wrong thing. Now there's one more. So should I flip a coin? What if I don't have a coin? Should I? How about this? How about this? I'm going to. I have equipment around me, so I don't want to flip anything. Is there any way to randomize something with notes? If I like play a random note and it's if it's C, D, or E, then we'll go with the lower numbered one, 29. If it's G, A, and B, we'll go with 30. And then if I play an F somehow, we want to be the ones. I got to randomize it, though, and change where I'm sitting so I don't know where the piano notes are. I'm going to move this. So C, D, E will be Hammer Clavier. It's F. Okay, revote. That's crazy. Do the poll again. Do the poll again. Okay, I'm going to do the poll again, but I'm going to give it 30 seconds, guys. That's a fair thing in case someone misclicked. We'll do the poll again, and then I will give it 30 seconds. We got to move on because last time around 2 hours, I know people say like live streams start dying sometimes after 2 hours, and last time this died after 2 hours, which was like super ironic. So 29 B flat major, 30 B major. I'm going to give about 30 seconds. 30 seconds. You ready for this? Ready, set, go. Should I count? Should I play another sonata completely to not like try to skew anyone this time? Should I play a different composer completely? People are crazy though. They'll be like, no, that has the vibes of the E major. Other people will be like, no, it has the flats of the B flat major, and people will not be happy. So, wow. It looks like E major now has a lead. I thought it would even swing further. All right, 10 seconds. Playlist. I'm trying to think of the end of right before Tarantella. What's the end of the first page of Tarantella? It's It's not the same as the end of the Blood, but some that one. I can't think of like the measures before to lead into that. But all right, that's the end of the voting. E major wins. I lost my train of thought. There we go. I couldn't find it. E major won. That is a huge upset in my mind. I thought we would redo the poll and B flat would crush it. Okay, guys, on to the next one. That was a long one, but it was a close one. We want to take our time on the close ones. Number 28 in E major or A major, or number 27 in E minor. I'll play the themes for you guys really quickly. This one, something I love, is going to go away. Do I have perfect pitch or does Black Mage have perfect pitch? 28 in A major, 27 in E minor. Let's go. I'll start the poll. So real quick before I answer your question, let me know if you mean me or Black Mage has perfect pitch. A major is, then later, and then E minor is, I forgot this chord earlier too, if you were here. I got back on track somehow. Whatever that chord is in my head. And the second movement is the, this is a tough one. I would probably vote for A major. It's one of my favorite sonatas of all time. I actually made a video recently where I called it underrated. And a couple people were like, what do you mean it's underrated? It's not underrated sonata. And relative to, I think, how great it is, and relative to the other famous Beethoven sonatas, I think it's underrated. I did a video months ago, and most of you have never seen, I know, because it has hardly no views on it. And I just talked about the most viewed Beethoven sonatas, like the top 10 most viewed Beethoven sonatas, not by me, but just by YouTube views. And the That wasn't even in the top 10, which was crazy to me. Don't forget the second movement of Sonata number 27. Yeah. Let's see. I bumped my microphone. Is everything still in the right place? All right. This looks like A major is going to win. To answer your question, no, I don't have perfect pitch. Perfect pitch is an interesting thing to me. I think I knew a lot of people in college with perfect pitch. I was friends with lots of string players who had like absolute perfect pitch, right? You could just hit something, they'd be like, oh, and they know what note it was, right? I have a spiel. I'm sure you don't want to hear the whole thing. I will spare you the whole spiel, but the short answer is perfect pitch is a really cool tool. It can be really helpful. For most things we do as piano players, the goal is more hearing harmony and direction and not necessarily absolute notes. For example, one of the best musicians I ever knew, in case you want some credentials, he is now teaching at a big college. He applied for his master's program. He applied to every big school in the United States and got into all of them, full ride for master's program. Like everyone wanted him. And he had perfect pitch. I remember him telling me, he was like, I don't know. Like, I don't always think about what the chords and the harmony and the directions are. I had to first hear the notes in my head, figure out what the chord is, rearrange it, figure out what the harmony is doing that way. I don't hear the function, is what we would say. It's easily like, a 7 chord going to this chord and a deceptive here. And so it's an iffy thing for me. At one point I was like getting perfect. This is a weird story. As I kind of gained where I could hear notes, I was like, oh yeah, this sounds like this. And I was like, I kind of didn't want to pursue it because I think you can, like, I've heard from lots of pianists who are very successful. Eventually you can kind of make yourself do it. And I was like, I don't know. I don't want to get away from like the notes and the harmony. So to answer your question, I don't have perfect pitch. I have very strong kind of relative pitch and kind of recall. I can sometimes kind of hear a note perfect pitch-ish. I can kind of like, oh, that's probably this note here. But for the most part, I'm hearing intervals and chords. So when I hear like a pop song or a musical, I'm sitting there thinking like, oh, it's a 1 chord going to a 6 chord to a 4 chord to a 5 chord. But same thing with classical music. You have like a 5 chord and it resolves to a different place. You're like, oh, that didn't go to 1. Where did that 5 chord resolve to? So it's not perfect. I think some people call it very strong relative pitch, if that answers your question. So, but not perfect pitch. I have decent memory, but because it's not perfect pitch, sometimes I will play a piece from memory in the wrong key because it all sounds right relative to itself, even if I remember what key it's in. So, all right, it looks like A major has won, which makes me happy. I love E minor. I would say it's a really, really cool sonata, but A major is one of my favorites. So, let's see. I can tell on the piano when a note is lower or higher than G sharp in the middle because of the timbre. That's an interesting point. Like F sharp, I feel like always stands out on the piano too. Pastoral's the best. Ooh, strong opinion there. It's one of my favorites too, so I like the opinion though. So, okay, let's go on to the next poll. We had a not as close one there, but up next we have 26 in E flat major, which is also known as Libévole versus Pathetique, which I think is interesting. I'm going to let you guys have that one before I talk. Go for it. Number 26 in E flat major is the one that starts with. Someone said, dude, what sonata eliminated number 18? Wait, my system messed myself up. The Hunt eliminated. That was actually really close. That was the closest one of the first round, I think, to answer your question. The Hunt got rid of number 15 in D major, Pastoral, eliminated the Hunt, but that was very close. Very, very, very close. I might have skewed the opinions a little bit there. So, all right, guys, for the sake of time, we're going to go ahead and call this one for Pathetique. I think most of you know Pathetique. I know. I said that backwards. My bad. I said the Hunt eliminated 15, but Pastoral 15 beat the Hunt, which is 18. So the Hunt is an E flat major. So it's good, but it had a really tough first round matchup. That was a very close one. So, all right, we're going to go ahead and call this one for Pathetique because we want to keep moving here until we get to close ones. This is not even close. So we're not even going to let this one go out. If it's already dying, why make it sit there and die a terrible death? So up next, we have 11 in B flat major versus. No, sorry. I skipped a category. I skipped a row. 24 in F sharp major versus a little known sonata called a Passionata. So we have a Passionata is F minor. That is the versus 24 in F sharp major, which is the that one. So I'm guessing the Passionata is going to crush this one. This is what's going to happen. Yeah, you're right. Polar opposite sonata. That's a good way to put it. 24, the second movement is so happy. It's just like joy, ba da da, just yay, happy, happy, happy. The first movement just like so beautiful and calm. Then the Passionata is like dark and evil. But this isn't going to be close. Unfortunately, this is what's going to happen. We're going to get down pretty soon here to 8 sonatas, and literally every sonata that gets eliminated. Like, for example, while we're voting for this one, look up here, guys. The next round, A major, one of my personal favorites, is going to go against Pathétique, another great sonata. Not both of those can't win. I know what I would pick, but they both can't win. Things are going to start to get really tough here. This one, though, is not close. So once again, let's save our time for the close matchup. So this is a crushing. F sharp, I think most of you probably would agree, F sharp is a beautiful, unique sonata. Like, it's a beautiful thing to play F sharp, and just is so, it's just an amazing masterpiece. It's more subtle than most, but up against Appassionata, I'm not disagreeing with you guys in the least. Appassionata is just like, oh, yeah, you're right. That's what I was saying. 28 versus 8 is going to be crazy. Jordan, I hope you're speaking to someone else because I don't speak. Is that Croatian? Is that what you said? Or is that, I'm not good at Balkan Peninsula languages, so I'm sorry if it's not Croatian, but I heard you mention Croatian earlier. So, all right, number 11 and B flat major. So if you're chatting to me, sorry. Hey, whoever's calling the next round early, you don't know that Waldstein is going to beat number 11 in B flat major right now. I would be so happy, guys. This would make my day. I got more stuff to do today. I got to work later today. I will not be able to be sad the rest of today if this is 100%. Oh, it's 100% right now. Oh, it's close. A couple people have voted for B flat major. Okay, cool. Just wanted to make sure, Jordan, that you weren't talking to me, because I'm like, I did not mean to give off when I spoke a little bit of German earlier that I had any ability to speak Croatian. So cool. Yeah, Waldstein is one of my favorites. I think if I had to choose one sonata to forever not be erased from history, it might be number 21, Waldstein. The thing about Waldstein, my favorite thing about Waldstein is I feel like the first movement is the culmination of the classical era. I think it's probably the best this is controversial. I feel like it's, for me, the best classical sonata. Now, I'm not comparing it to a Passionata, and I'm not comparing it to Opus 101, because those first movement sonatas are more romantic in nature. They feel like they're not just straight up classical sonatas anymore, if you know what I mean. Does that make some sense? I'm not saying it's better than 101, but it feels like of the classics, of Mozart, Haydn, of all early Beethoven, I feel like 21 is the peak. It peaks at 21. But then the third movement, or the second movement, depending on how you count movements, is like the ushering in of the romantic era. Now, obviously, Beethoven's done romantic stuff before then, but it is just an amazing, it's like a rondo, right? But it's like almost has this romantic feel to it. It feels very Beethoven in lots of ways, but the experimentation with the pedals and the octave glissandos, oh, love it. All right, B flat picked up more votes than I thought it would, but it lost. So let's move on. Sorry, B flat major. If you watch my Beethoven tier list, you know that B flat major is not in my top 10. It's not in my top 20 either, sonata. Not saying it's terrible, but it's not, compared to sonatas, it's not close. So, okay, number 13 in E flat major versus number 14 in C sharp minor. So we're getting both the fantasy sonatas have to face off against each other. Oops, almost forgot the flat. C sharp minor is Moonlight. That one, and then E flat major is I would say had a very weak first round opponent. It had to go against. I don't think it's going to stand a chance against Moonlight. We'll see, guys. I think you guys are going to crush E flat major. I like E flat major. If you want some of the most calming Beethoven to play, just play the first one, make it an adagio instead of an andante, and go. Beautiful stuff. But I think you guys are going to crush it with. I don't think Moonlight, in my crazy opinion, is the best sonata. I don't think it's. Thank you. I like the comment. Who didn't vote for Waldstein the last round? But yeah, I don't think Moonlight is like the greatest Beethoven sonata, but it's like much better than 13. I think it's a good sonata still. Very good. It sort of has the Fur-Elise effect where we forget that it's good because it's just overplayed. It's played so much, we're like, is it really good? It actually is good, though. It's not like just famous. Some pieces are just famous. It's actually good. So it's actually very interesting. The very first round, if you missed it, we had tons of easy matchups, crushing. Then we had really tough second round matchups. Down here, we had tough first round matchups, but these have not been close. Appassionata, Waldstein, and Moonlight, 3 named sonatas crushing the competition in this round. So it's kind of funny how the first top of the list is like, wow, these are all really obvious picks. But then it's great fun to try to play the third movement in a major key of Moonlight. I mean, Beethoven kind of does that, right? Doesn't like 16 measurement. Do I need to go potty, Cube Talk? No. I went potty earlier. Thanks for asking, though. I'm being concerned about my health and well-being. 15 and D major. However, if I keep drinking coffee, things could change. All right, we got 2 sonatas in D. We got 15 in D major, one of my faves. I call some pieces my pieces, not saying no one else likes Pastoral. I know lots of you love Pastoral. But if I was to rank them relative to when I see other people rank sonatas, Pastoral is often higher for me than average people. And Tempest is a little lower than average. I'm not saying either one's bad. I like both. But if I had to rank them, I would put Pastoral above Tempest. So 17 in D minor is Tempest. It's Tempest, in case you're wondering. That is one of the named ones. And then number 15 is Pastoral. So this is a tough vote. Do I have enough of Tempest memorized to play any of it for you? It's like the what's that note? I went down too low somehow there, but it also has the really cool second movement with the that little like thing going on. So, wow, guys, you're crushing my sonata. Really? Tempest is going to beat it by that much? See, I think this is a case of like if Pastoral had a cool name, I think Pastoral would be more famous. Maybe I'm just being bitter. I feel like Pastoral is such a good sonata. I think it's just insanely good. And clearly, it's not bad. It won the first round, and it is up against a tough opponent. Let's put it that way. Sometimes you get bad matchups. Like if this had the same matchup that Moonlight just had, if this guy to go against E flat major, number 13, it would win. I'm pretty confident. Right, guys? Are you with me here? Pastoral would beat 13 in E flat major, but it has a pretty tough opponent. I think actually if it got past this round, do you think you have a chance against Moonlight? All right, guys, it's close. It's close. I will give it another second just because my love for this piece. So, yeah, I'm with you. Kolja Kleinblatt. Are you from Germany? Kolja Kleinblatt? Is that a German name, the first name? Your last name looks German, but lots of us Americans have German last names too. For all you Germans out there, I have a little fun quiz for you. My last name, Abshier. Do you think it's German? The quiz of the day. I'm able to skew the vote pretty well. Maybe I should just play some Pastoral so people vote for it. And then I can't think of the first chord. It just actually drove me crazy earlier, and I didn't look it up. What's the first chord of the second movement? I know the second section of the second movement. I played a bit of that for you earlier. Oh, yeah. The second movement is the I said look at the first chord here. Okay. It starts with the and then it has the jazz. But it also has cool jazz. It has the great stuff. Basically the bringer of jazz. So there you go. It worked. You're right. I was able to skew the vote. You know what? I am skewing the vote a little bit. You never liked the jazz of 15? I take that as an offense to my people. I don't know why my people are jazzy, but I grew up by where Scott Joplin lived. That makes me my people jazzy. Man, I love that. I love that stuff. It's a great sonata in my mind. So, well, guys, it's winning by 1 vote. I'll give you 10 seconds for someone to vote for the other one, or else we got to call it. We gotta call it. You didn't even vote. Yeah. Oh, the first one with chords. Yeah. I probably like that one less than the second one. I'm with you. Okay, guys. Now it's tied. Well, this is fun. This is why we're here, right? We're here for the close matchups. Anyone want to be a tiebreaker? Repoll. Kathy, don't encourage people. Don't encourage people to vote for a different one. Okay, we're repolling, guys. 15 in D major. I will give you guys 30 seconds again, like I did last time, because we can't let it go on forever. But 15 in D major, Pastoral. 17 in D minor, go. And I will not skew the vote. I will play some, let's do, can anyone name that piece? Oh, good timing. I'm playing Bach. Anyone name that piece? If you can name that piece, the first one to name that piece gets to be the tiebreaker. Jordan, if there's a tiebreaker in 10 more seconds, I'll let you pick. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. I know, 5. Actually, I got to give it a few more seconds because there's a delay. But I'll give it 5 more seconds. I'm done counting. So we got 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We don't need a tiebreaker. 15 is 1. Wow, that was insanely close vote. I recognize that I might have used my sway, but you know what? That's politics, guys. Sometimes people have to use their sway, but that's a crazy vote. That's a crazy close vote. Jordan, would you have broken the tie with 15? What would have happened? Good job naming the piece, by the way, though. Good job. You would have chosen Tempest. You didn't even get your reward for naming the piece so quickly. That was really fast, though. I mean, like, there's about, I think, a 7-second delay with the delay is in the live stream. And I feel like it could have been almost exactly. So you must have typed that in, especially the fact you knew the BWV number and then you named the piece was crazy. So it's tough. Yeah, Shimmy, you probably broke the tie. So thank you for converting. You can't go wrong. Guys, we're entering the final 8, okay? I already typed the poll out before I started. These are 8 great sonatas, right? We got the final sonata. We had the beautiful E major. We had the beautiful A major. We have Pathetique. We have Appassionata. By the way, I'm doing this one-handed, so this is the average of those 2 octaves. We have Waldstein. Then we have C sharp minor. And we have D major. I think all these matchups are good, actually. And all of them are tough. I would struggle picking. I know what I would pick on most of them, but I would struggle with all of them. So, all right, guys. Who's ready for the final round? Let's go. We got number 32 in C minor versus number 30 in E major. Oh, yeah, I know. There's been a lot of misclicks today. I would say when the poll comes up, take a breath, relax, and then vote. So we don't have as many misclicks. Okay. Yeah. This one seems to be a little more obvious, I guess. A little more obvious, unfortunately. E major is a great sonata. I mean, you're in the final 8. So at this point, you're in the upper third of our voting. I don't think there's any, in my opinion, there are no terrible sonatas. Not saying there are any terrible Beethoven sonatas, but no bad sonatas like snuck through. If you know what I mean, sometimes you're like, oh, this is not a great sonata, but it went up against another not great one. They went up against another not great one. I think we're down to, Pathetique is really famous. These two at the bottom are famous. Appassionata and Waltz are famous. The last three are all famous. So I think we're down to all really famous ones. If you know what I mean. We don't have anything that's like, oh, wow, you're in G major. You don't deserve to be here. A joke. I'm a joke. Joking. All right. C minor. Let's do it. C minor took it away. So E major is now gone. One of the most beautiful pages, which I played earlier, beautiful pages of our piano repertoire is that E major. I'm going to talk about it because it's gone now, but one of the most beautiful pages of music is partway through the E major sonata, the gorgeous. Now I can't play with my left hand apparently. But it's gone. Okay. This one is actually a contrast of styles. So we have 28 in A major versus Pathetique in C minor, right? This is an interesting matchup because the last three, C minor versus E major, is like a matchup of two late sonatas. This is a matchup of like, what do you appreciate more? C minor is one of the best classical sonatas ever. Number 8 is Pathetique. Number 28 in A major, though, is one of the greatest sonatas ever written. It has the fugue, which is kind of like Baroque, but it's not. And it just has so much beauty and romanticism. This is like a complete contrast of styles. I feel like we might have stronger opinions here, whereas like the 32 versus 30 is kind of like, oh, they're both great late sonatas. This is a great late sonata versus a great early sonata. We're doing it. Here's the poll. Oh man, I feel like this could be a crushing one way or another. I would vote. Well, I won't say what I will vote for, so I don't get accused of skewing the votes too much. It doesn't look like it's going to matter. Yep. Oh. See, Black Mage, now you know my pain. You picked on my Beethoven tier list. But see, people just don't agree, even when you think you know what you're doing. I think Ryan will always vote for a late sonata. I don't know if that's true, but it might be. I do like the last 5. I think of the last 5 in the first round, I think I mentioned at the very beginning of the video, I might have gone with A major. That would be an upset for me, I think, for most people. A major got crushed. I like how A flat starts, but not as much where it goes as the other 3 last sonatas. I don't know. I think I have some from every era I like. Of the first sonatas, I love A major. I think it should have made it further, but it got a really tough matchup. I do like C major. I don't like, again, relative to other sonatas, 6 and 7 as much. C minor is great. 9 is great. The middle era is interesting. Of the middle era, I do have, I would say actually, how about this? If I just say an area I don't like as much, I would probably say middle. There's a chunk in the middle that tend to not be my favorite, which would be 9, 10, 11, 12. So 12 is really has some beautiful stuff. 13. That would be my chunk where I'd say I have a kind of a dry spot. Where if I was to rank, again, I love many of those. I love A flat major, but I'm just saying if I had to rank 1 to 32, you would see a good chunk in a row there. 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 be shifted down. So my brother looks like my brother. Yeah, I don't know. Joel's not in the chat today. Sometimes he is. So my little brother Joel makes some music videos where he does like cover songs and everything. And yeah, we don't look as much alike as we used to. We literally, when he was a baby, lost his baby pictures one time and couldn't find the box of them. And we just showed him pictures of me because me and my little brother look so similar. So similar. It's kind of crazy. Yeah, we're like twins, but not born in the same year. So anyways, Pathetique 1, C minor. I'm not upset by this. I've played both those sonatas, and when I played both of those, in my mind, they were the greatest sonata ever when I was playing them. I just have this huge soft spot for 28 in A major. So, all right, guys, the matchup you've all been waiting for. What are we going to do? What are we going to do? Who's going to win? We got 23. I'm going to try to keep it in the order of the tier list, even though I know 23 is a higher number than 21. But we have Appassionata versus Waldstein. Appassionata versus Waldstein. I mean, yeah, go flip a coin. Exactly. Oh, good luck, guys. Should I say anything first? No, let's just do it. This is one of the this is a matchup of like two all-stars, two amazing pieces. I don't know how you pick. I know how I pick, so I know which one I like more. But I've mentioned before on the channel talking about these two pieces. I have one I prefer, but I don't think it's greater necessarily. I don't think it's a greater. Oh man, it's tied right now. It's tied right now. Sorry, Fishy. Fishy, you got to vote. We need as many votes as we can get to break the ties in this one. Guys, we're getting down to the end here. This is coming to a close. This is the time to get your votes in. If you don't get your votes in right now, guys, you're going to be sad you missed out because you got to vote on this one. But again, I don't know how you pick. I know what I like from personal preference. Waldstein has a lead of a couple votes right now. My heart says Appassionata. Someone meant to click Appassionata. Well, it's a tie. If we have to do a revote again, I'm going to play another random piece, and the first person to name it will get the tiebreaker again if there's a tiebreaker after like 30 seconds. So that's going to be our new system. Play a random piece. The first one to name it. I can do a really. I should do a middle section of a piece that's really obscure, so it's actually more difficult. Ooh, it might not be a tie though. Appassionata is winning. Oh man, I know there's like 48 people here. Everyone needs to vote, right? This is like during the election season. Like everyone vote, everyone vote. Then when someone votes against you, you're like, no, you didn't need to vote. By everyone vote, I mean people who want to vote the same way I want to vote should vote. Not if you don't agree with me. Wow, guys, this is within one, within two, within one. Choose. Everyone choose. Everyone choose. No more waiting. I'm going to do a countdown. And I'm going to count down from 10. There's a delay. So vote when I'm to like 5 or else you won't get your vote in, okay? 10. If it's tied, we'll have to do a tie break. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Appassionata it is. Oh my goodness. It switched right at the last second. All right, Appassionata got another vote. So Appassionata's going to win. I thought Appassionata would win. I will give my 5-second opinion. I like Waldstein more. And I encourage people who don't know Beethoven yet to listen to Waldstein first. I think it's easier to get into. But I recognize Appassionata is great. And it's right there. For me, they're like almost like 1-2, 2-1 greatness. I even mentioned in my video where I ranked it. I tried to guess the top 10 most popular Beethoven sonatas. Well, pieces, I think, actually. Sonatas or pieces, whatever it was. I actually guessed the top 10 viewed sonatas perfectly. I didn't get the right order, and one of the things I did was Waldstein and Appassionata. I said Waldstein would have more views than Appassionata total. I didn't actually believe it in my heart, but that's why I want it to be true. So I like it slightly more, but you really can't go wrong. So, all right, guys, this is another moment when I'm going to see how intelligent you are. I'm joking. Liking and not liking a sonata does not make you more or less intelligent. You can like whatever you want to like. You could say that Bergmüller is a better composer than Beethoven. And if that's your opinion, then, we're not talking facts right now. We're talking opinion. So we have Moonlight Sonata, sonata number 14 in C sharp minor, Quasi und Fantasie, versus D major, who some might say only made it there because I pushed for it. But in my opinion, this is not that tough. Mostly because Moonlight has the overplayed effect, in my mind. It would be sort of like if I had to compare Bach Prelude in C major to most other preludes, I would give it to Bach Prelude. I would give it to most other pieces. I just have heard Moonlight too much in my head to have I can't have an unbiased opinion. I like D major so much more than Moonlight, so much more, because I feel like I did not say I respect your right to be wrong. Maybe it sounded like that, but no, I think I actually thought about this at the beginning. I was going to say this, but I forgot. I want you to vote for which sonata you like the best. So if you're torn on some of these, don't try to become like don't try to remove yourself from yourself and say which one is greater, which one has the greater influence. So, for example, yesterday we were voting like Chopin versus, not yesterday, 2 days ago, Chopin versus Bach. I think some people were like, whoa, but Bach has a greater influence. He has a greater like reach, Right, but I want to know what you like the best. So I don't want people to try to be like, well, I want to vote for this sonata, but this one though, I just want you to vote for what you like the best. Wow, guys, I started talking about reach and vote for your heart, and my sonata got crushed. What happened? How did Tempest lose against 15? Because I swayed the vote. I really, 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 really pushed for it. I started playing it. There was a tie break. We had to revote. I started playing. I know there wasn't a tie break. I was going to do a tie break, but I count down. There was one vote at the end for 15. D major is awesome. If you guys don't know D major, you haven't listened to it front to back. It's a great one to listen all the way through front to back. I mean, so is Moonlight. But I looked down and there was like 25 votes in. It was even. And I looked back up and it was at 46 votes. C sharp minor crushed it. So, wow. All right, we're ending the poll. All right, guys. We have, oops, I clicked the wrong button, C sharp minor. The final four is a super, first of all, three things in C. C, C, C sharp. Also interesting to know, we have four pieces in minor keys, which is hysterical. They're all minor, which is classic Beethoven, right? But Beethoven did write more major sonatas, but the minor ones have one out. It's also a pretty wild contrast of styles. We have the final sonata. We also have two classics, Pathetique, and I point to the wrong one there. Actually, I don't know if you can see my mouse. Maybe it doesn't matter what I point to. Pathetique number 8. I have a Passionata. And we have Moonlight. I think I know what's going to win this one. I in my heart, I think I knew there was a vote that happened earlier. A vote that happened earlier in this tier list, not a bracket, and I thought whoever wins this one is going to win the whole thing in the end, and so I think I know who's going to win the whole thing. So up next, we have two sonatas in C minor, the two best sonatas in C minor, so I'm glad they both made it. We have sonata number 8 in C minor, sonata number, I'll put a little path in the Pathetique once everyone knows which one is which, because there's two in C minor. So the last sonata, then obviously Pathetique. So this is a tough choice. I know what I would vote for easily, but Pathetique is so famous. So this is an interesting choice. I think the last one's going to win would be my gut, but more people know Pathetique. This is kind of the thing when you're voting for sonatas. Some of them, everyone knows. So if you don't have like a dog in the fight, you don't really have a strong opinion, everyone knows a certain piece, it might get a little bump. You think Pathetique must win against 32? Really? Old Beethoven versus young Beethoven. That's true. I mean, Pathetique was probably written in like 95. It's Opus 13. 95, 96. So he's probably like 25 years old, 26 years old. And then the last sonata was written in like 1821, 22. Am I right about that? So that's like 5 years before he died. So we're talking like, yeah, a good, not quite 30-year span between them, but probably close to it. So I can actually see, it doesn't tell me on the front page when they were composed, but yeah, I would vote for the last sonata easily. It's not even really close in my mind. I just think it's so unique and gorgeous, but I get the last movement is a little overwhelming. It's gorgeous, but it's a little overwhelming. It's a lot to listen to. Like if I had to pick a piece to program for a recital and I was playing for people who haven't heard a lot of Beethoven before, I would probably pick Pathetique because I feel like that would just be it's an easier listen for an audience who maybe is familiar with Beethoven. The last movement just might people kind of like, Luke, that's the same comment you said earlier. I don't always vote for the last sonatas, but I do think 32 is better than 8. Maybe at the end I should do all my rankings. No, I won't actually do that. But the late sonatas are really good. They are really good. Like I said, the moment in sonatas that I really fall apart is the early middle, I think, are weak. And then obviously the Opus 49, 19, and 20, they're weak. So I would just say in general, 9 through 20 has some. I mean, I just now push for 15 to win, even though 15 lost. I tried to get you guys to vote for 15. But if, for example, if 15, here's my example, Luke. I do agree with you in general. I think that the I think I like late Beethoven sonatas better. If you averaged out the last five, that's stronger than the first five. I'm not arguing that at all. If sonata number 15 had been up here, though, sonata number 15 for me, call me crazy, would definitely beat 31. It would beat 30. It would beat 29. It would not beat 28. It would beat 27. And it would beat 26. It would definitely beat 25. And so, yeah, I would say, but we're comparing the late ones to the early ones. Yes, the last five, I think if you were just to take the average amount of love I have for every group of five sonatas, the last five would be the best. So we are losing. See, this is what I'm saying. When I do a tier list in the future, you all might have a little more compassion when I rank something. Actually, it's hilarious. If you want to just scroll through my tier list comments, one of my favorite things is to go through and you get like, I have 20 comments on some videos. I feel like saying everyone likes this sonata more. And then 20 more comments saying, dude, you're crazy. Everyone likes this sonata more. And I'm like, did you guys read each other's comments? Or like I might say pieces early advanced and I'll have like 15 comments saying, no, that's not early advanced, it's intermediate. Then 15 other comments, you're crazy. That's not early advanced, that's advanced. So people, this is a tough fight. This is the most votes we've had for any sonata. And right now, we're up by 2 votes. 2 votes for the last sonata. Yeah. Sorry. 8's not going to win. I think this is the most votes. I mean, we're at the final 4. This is like if you guys watch any sports in the world, and the team that loses the championship, the most recent U.S. championship was the NBA championship, unless hockey. I know nothing about hockey. And the Mavericks lost to the Celtics. And if you care anything about the NBA, I don't care about the NBA that much. The playoffs are fun, though. And it's funny, all playoffs, the Mavericks are so good. They're so good. They're just overachieving. They're so good. Then the moment they lose, it's like, oh, wow, they stink. Mavericks are terrible. You're like, they were the second best team. So anyways, though, yeah, you're getting to the final 4. We're going to pick sonata number 32 in C minor, but we're literally voting, guys, on the final 4 sonatas of the greatest composer to ever walk the planet. So we have no easy decisions are left. Literally no easy decisions are left, except this one right here. Appassionata versus Moonlight. But just keep that in mind. Like literally we're talking about the greatest composer ever. He has 10 amazing pieces, and we're just, can we do Bach for the tiebreakers? Oh, there's no tiebreaker right now. So, oh man. Don't compare Nocturne to Beethoven Sonata. So I have a question. I've seen this Nocturne be asked. Is someone asking to do the same comparison in the future with, can we vote for third place? Yes. We will definitely vote for third place. So the person saying Nocturnes, are you asking if I should do a Nocturne in the future, or are you somehow asking to compare Nocturne to Beethoven right now? I've seen this comment, but I have the polls open, so I don't get to see very many comments at a time. So, all right, guys, Appassionata versus Moonlight. I don't think this will be as much of a sweep as some of you think, but I could be totally out of touch. All right, here it's up. It's up. Appassionata. Don't misclick. Just nobody misclick. Nobody misclick this time. Yeah. Moonlight had a good run, guys. It had a good run. It was a good story. It made it. It took down. Moonlight took down G minor. It had the easiest first round matchup, or second easiest in the entire list. Okay, it had to go against E flat, which was a tougher competition. Then it had to face off against D major, which was strong in today's list because I pulled for it, and I recognize that. I was really pulling for it, but now I had to go against Appassionata. And this is what I was saying earlier. I'm pretty sure Moonlight would beat. I can't talk. Waldstein would beat Moonlight, right? Waldstein Sonata. If it would have beaten Appassionata, I'm pretty sure it would be going on to the final 2 as well. Right? Am I crazy? And Luke, you haven't said it yet, but yeah, I'm pulling for the later sonata. So your theory has been proved true again. You know what? I honestly did think about voting for individual movements, but that would be like 100, depending on how you count movements. So all right, we can end this poll, guys. Oh man, Appassionata crushed it. So I would say I'm not that surprised. Can you guys see the last category, by the way, on the screen? Okay, cool, you can. I'm not that surprised by this final matchup. We're going to do the final matchup. Then we will do a, actually, before we do the final matchup, let's do the losers bracket first. Everyone listening? Loser bracket first. I have then also promised to do the concertos, but I will not do first. But we're going to do loser bracket first. So this is actually hilarious because it's two of the most famous Beethoven sonatas. We have C minor, and then we have 14 in C sharp minor. So guys, don't click yet. Please don't click the wrong thing. Please pay attention. We're doing the loser bracket first. I know the final round is the final sonata versus a passionata, okay? I heard someone call this the fate sonata the other day. It made me uncomfortable. I don't know if it's fate enough. The last movement is more like happy fate. But we're doing the loser bracket first. So to determine third place, we're going to have C minor go up against C sharp minor. Are you ready? C minor, C sharp minor. That would be, I keep saying Moonlight and Waldstein backwards today. I've talked for 2 hours straight. My brain has stopped working. But that would be Moonlight, number 14, versus Pathetique, number 8. Let's go. Loser bracket it is. Third place. I had nowhere to write third place on the screen, so you're just going to have to pay attention. This is a very, very, very bare bones website, and that's why I'm using it, because it's very bare bones and easy to use. It's actually, if you want to know why you're voting for this, bracket websites are like, I guess, a moneymaker. Because when you look at bracket websites, like, oh, this is going to be so easy, right? You search for like code and programs, you get all the software for free. And they're like, make a bracket, and people are like, sign up and pay us money once a month. I'm like, no way. And just so you know, Luke, if you're listening, I would vote for number 8 over Moonlight pretty easily. And it seems like the majority would as well. I'm not saying Moonlight's bad. I just think number 8 is more complete. I like all 3 movements, number 8, quite a bit. So 8 is peak 1700s piano, probably. Yeah. It looks like I'm in the majority here, which I'm not always, but it seems like in this one the people agree. So Pathetique is the third place. Now, does that mean Pathetique is the third best sonata? No. I'm pretty sure you guys would pick Waldstein over Pathetique. Maybe I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure he picked that over Pathetique. It's just that some things got eliminated early. Waldstein had to go against a Passionata earlier, so it's already got eliminated. So I'm pretty sure Waldstein would be the third most popular. Maybe we can do that poll too at the end and see. But for right now, we are ready. We are ready for our finale. We got to get to the finale here. 32, C minor, the final sonata versus 23, 32, 23. I didn't even notice that right now when I was typing it. In F minor, also known as a passionata. Are you ready? I think I know it's going to win. I think. The Tempest greater than Pathetique. Yeah, the Tempest had a rough matchup earlier on where it went against the Sonata I really pulled for, so it did not help. I feel like Moonlight is underrated by people who actually listen to classical music. I don't disagree with you. Yeah, there's the effect of like, if you're more in the know, if you listen or you play things yourself, you're like, oh, I'm too good to like that piece. Everyone likes that piece. And that does happen. So maybe it is a little underrated amongst us. So let's do it. Let's do it, guys. 3, 2, 1, go. I'm going to give it about 10 or 15 seconds before I tell you what I think is going to happen here. But I think I know who's going to win. I think. Yeah. That's what I thought would happen. Okay, so earlier today, I made a prediction. I should have written it down on like a piece of paper and held it up. However, I could write like 10 predictions, right, and hold up whichever one won and look smart. I thought earlier, someone asked me that knew I was doing this tier list, like, who do you think is going to win? Or maybe I asked them who I thought was going to win first. That might have been how the conversation went down. And I was like, I feel like Hammer Clavier could win just because of the name. Hammer Clavier. Like, it's so well known. But after that, I said probably Waldstein or Passionata. And I told them the same thing I told you guys earlier. I think Waldstein is slightly better, but I think Appassionata will win. I recognize Appassionata is slightly more famous than Waldstein. So this is kind of my pick. I was like, if it's not Hammerklavier, it's probably going to be Appassionata. So this is actually pretty overwhelming vote for Appassionata. So yeah, but I'm pretty sure, again, my assumption earlier was that I think Waldstein. Let's do a couple of these fun polls real quick, okay? We're going to do Waldstein versus the final sonata. So 32 in C minor, and that is the final sonata. Just for fun, we already know who wins. Appassionata won, but versus 21 in C major, which is Waldstein. And this is my assumption is Waldstein would win in either one. Like the winner of Appassionata and Waldstein was the winner of the bracket. That's what I thought would happen. I thought those were the two strongest ones. I could be wrong, but I really thought whichever one came out of that bracket, which happened in the round of. So let me go back to my page over here. Oh, it happened in the round of 8. So in the round of 8, we had Appassionata versus Waldstein right there in the middle, and I thought the winner of that is probably going to win the whole thing. It looks like it's tied right now. It's maybe I was a little too confident. Yeah. It felt like 21 versus 23 is kind of the real finale. I considered, like I told you at the very beginning, I considered splitting things and saying, okay, let's put 21 at the top and 23 at the bottom so they didn't match up until the end. But then I'm kind of like imposing my ideas on there, right? And I didn't want to do that too much. So I was like, I'll just leave it. I knew they'd match up pretty quickly because they only had a spacing of 1 between them. But yeah, this is really close. So we can pretty definitively say the top 3 sonatas that you guys are voting for is Waldstein, Appassionata, and the final sonata. It'd be tough to decide between Waldstein and the final right now. I mean, Waldstein's winning by 1 vote on my screen right now, but it could go back. Do 17 versus 14. Do 17 versus 14. Oh, yeah. I think I promised that one earlier. Yeah. So 17, Tempest. 17 in D minor versus 14 in C sharp. I think I would agree with you. I think if the one I pulled for hadn't won and Tempest won, Tempest probably has a better shot against Moonlight than 15 had against Moonlight. So that's my assumption. Though it's hard to know once I start saying those thoughts out loud. Oh, it's a crushing right now. Big crushing right now. So yeah, once I say the thoughts out loud, it's hard to know for sure. But yeah. Thank you, Mr. Broken. It says comparing music pieces is truly top content. I even brought popcorn for that. You know, it's funny. If you watch some of my videos when I compare pieces, I do a lot of teaching videos. If you're kind of new to the channel, I have a lot of teaching, technique, looking at musical concepts, but I do some tier list stuff for fun too. And people seem to like the tier list. And there's so many comments that will be like, they'll click on the video. They clicked on the video and they will leave a comment 4 paragraphs long saying all the reasons why comparing and ranking the videos is pointless and no one should like watch these videos. I'm just like, because it's entertaining and fun. I recognize that I say Sonata 15 is greater than 17. That does not make that truth for the world. I'm just saying this is what I like, and people like I like watching it too. So I'm glad you guys enjoy it. It's always like when I see those comments, I'm like, so you clicked on a video just to put a thumbs down and say I don't like this video and leave a comment telling everyone else who enjoys the video that they shouldn't be enjoying the video. It just seems like an odd comment. So anyways, should we do the concertos real quick? Are people like down for that? There's no good way to compare 5 pieces, the 5 Beethoven concertos, but we can do it real quick if you guys want to. We'll have to give someone a first round. We can't really do a first round bye, can you? Yeah, it's like that's difficult. That's difficult. Let's do concerto number 1 versus 2. I'm pretty sure those will not win. And we'll eliminate 1 or 2 right away. So this is concerto 1, concerto 2 right off the bat. We will get no, Shimmy, that's a good idea. Ranking the worst sonatas. I was just joking about that earlier. What if I did a tier list of the worst composer? And I put 64 composers on there and we say which one we aggressively hate more. So not necessarily who you like, but if we're just like, man, like this is the worst composer ever. So Fishy said, don't let those hate comments get to you. I love your content. I sure the rest do. Yeah, I really appreciate it. You know, it's weird. It's like that principle of the loudest people don't represent the majority. You guys would be amazed how many people just like watch 2 seconds of video and just say, I hate you. And you're like, for your guys' benefit, actually, I try to go back through the comments and I try to delete just cruel hate, especially directed at you guys commenting the video, just so you know. I try, because it's just uncalled for. Like, if people disagree with you, if one of you guys say, I think you're wrong because of this, I don't delete that stuff. But people just leave horrible stuff. And I try to clean it up because I want my channel to be a fun place you guys can come to and hang out and talk about classical music and we just enjoy it. But I do try to delete. Oh, I never clicked the winner. Sorry. Appassionata won, by the way. I try to delete just unnecessary, cruel hate because you guys get it sometimes and I get it sometimes. And I'm just like, why? Like, why can't we just have fun talking about composers? And I'm like, I'll say something like, I like, Appassionata more than Sonata 17. And people will be like, you should die. And I'm like, okay. Okay, number 1. So we're going to put number 1. We're going to do this just 1 versus 5 and then 3 versus 4, okay? That's going to be our simple system here that I'm thinking in my head. So it's not number 1 versus the Emperor. Ready, set, go. It's not number 1. We had a play-in tournament. We had to have a play-in because we had 5, which is a weird number. So I'm guessing this won't be close, guys. I'm guessing this is going to be a complete. You could do the 24 Chopin etudes plus 4 ballades and 4 scherzi. That's a good idea, actually. I'm going to write that down real quick here. Some of your other ideas you guys have given today have been really good as well, and they're already written down on my list. So don't feel like I'm ignoring you with things like Chopin Nocturnes I've thought about. So I have something written up. That's a good idea. A way to get Chopin etudes plus. Aren't there like a couple unpublished etudes? Maybe. All right. Number 5 won this easily. Really, this ranking is not started yet. The concertos is not started until we start comparing 3 versus 4 versus 5. So, okay, 3 versus 4. Schubert sonatas and impromptus. Yeah. I think there were 3 etudes. Yeah. Mr. Bachman just said that. So I thought there was 3 etudes at the end of the book that are like unpublished and less good, I would say. Unfortunately, I don't think I like them as much. I'm trying to think of how those melodies go, but I don't think I just enjoy those as much. So, all right, number 3 versus number 4 is interesting. 4 is often thought of as like the beautiful, subtle one that like the hipsters like. The number 3 is just a classic, great concerto. I don't know which one I like more. This is the tougher one in my head. I know it's concerto I like the best, but I don't know which one between 3 and 4 I like more. 4 is my top recommendation. Sorry, 3. Number 3, Concerto 3, is my top recommendation. If someone, wait, how is it? I was going to play a little bit for you. It's the that's my top recommendation. If someone's like, I've never heard a Beethoven concerto, I say go listen to 3. It's hard to not like number 3. Where someone might say number 4 is boring. I don't think it's boring, but someone might be like, it just takes a while to get going. You might not be as into that stuff, which is fine. It's fine if you think that. For me, I love it. But I just think if someone has never heard a big concerto, I would not start with 5 either because it's so big. So number 3 is 1. Now we're going to see number 3 versus number 5. And I think we all know where this is going to go. However, number 3 is loved by. So I've known people who like number 3 more than 5, even though I don't. What? You're right. Wait. I know concerto number 3. I know this tune. It's C minor. Oh, no. Yeah. There you go. I redeemed myself. I they are both in C minor, and they both play on the arpeggio C minor chord. Thank you. Redeem myself. Okay, Emperor is winning easily, but not crushing. So that's why I kind of thought would happen. So you're right. Yeah. Someone says that's the third one. Now everyone's to change their vote. The third one also has. Okay, so both of these concertos have great concerto figures where there's some of this. And then the both like really good, but I was called concerto figures where you just generate so much sound on the arpeggio. So, man. A lot of the C minor themes sound too much alike. So last movement of 3 is insane. That's what I'm thinking. Some of the last movement of 3 has those crazy arpeggios, just generate so much sound. If you happen to be into improv at all, learn those concerto show-off figures can really help you with improv because there are things that sound flashy, but they're not as hard as straight arpeggios. Some people think they're harder because they're broken up arpeggios going up and down and wiggling, but it actually gives you more time often to move your hand. So I find that true of Mozart and Beethoven. They're trying to generate a lot of sound to be heard over the orchestra. Often they write these thicker arpeggiated things, or they repeat notes in the octave. It actually just makes more sound for you. So it actually makes your job a little easier. So, all right. So with the votes we have right now, I would say concerto number 5 has won. Any other quick comparisons before we go? I appreciate all the nice words, like I said earlier. I get almost all like friendly, great comments in the comment section, but sometimes you have a day where you get like 12 comments that are just like die, and you're like, okay, I'll try. Not really, but it is always cool to hear people hanging out, having a good time. So let's see if anyone has any other comparisons. Beethoven violin sonatas. That's interesting. The only one I'm wildly familiar with is Spring Sonata. I would recognize maybe a few other ones, but that's the only one I'm really. I hate it playing Spring Sonatas. I hate it playing the Spring Sonata because the violinist wants to go so fast because their part's easy. And violins can play faster notes. A good violinist can play faster scales than we can play on the piano, right? Because they can just their bow in one direction, do their fingers. But man, yeah, I like the idea of Bach well tempered clavier sometime. That'd be interesting. A bracket of 48 wouldn't take too much. I'd have to pick like a few things. If we do 48, both books are 24, just the first book. It would take a little bit of fidgeting to get like a second seat or whatever. But I like the idea of it. I feel like people have good opinions about that. So cool. This is our live stream for the day. We are going to end it here. I have your ideas written down. Thank you for joining and hanging out. I'm going to put away my big book of Beethoven. I have both the Henley Beethoven Sonatas, which is a great addition, by the way. The Beethoven Sonatas, I'm not sponsored to say that. I wish I was. Henley, if you want to pay me money to talk about your books, I will, because I talk about them anyway. If you're watching this video and you don't own Beethoven Sonatas, these are cheap if you buy them in big sets. Don't buy the individual Henleys because you'll pay like $15 for a single sonata. But you can get all the Beethoven sonatas and they're just there. And these books like never go bad. My teacher had hers from like college, which I thought was pretty cool. So she convinced me to buy them. And now like I've had them for years and years and years. So thanks for hanging out. I'm going to stop the stream now. We'll see you guys in a future video. I'm right now working on analyzing all the chords for the final Chopin Etude. And it's hard. The piece is hard, but also the video is huge. It's going to take a long time to analyze all the chords. So I've been trying to work on here and there, but I can spend an hour and I'm trying to like pop the layers on the screen and do stuff with that. So it takes a while. So hopefully that is out sometime by the end of this week. So hopefully see you guys there.